Tui toke lau, tui o wawau e, he tai mani no langi a tea. Ke moli moli oko ai te mahutanga, ki ona no hoanga mana ia. Tui toke lau, tui o wawau e, he tai mani no langi a tea. Ke moli moli oko ai te mahutanga, ki ona no hoanga mana ia. Mo ia e. It's just talking about coming back into here. Coming back into our house. And remembering the God that is inside in each and every one of us. The more that I do this, the more that our people start opening up. Mirimiri for me, like being here, we've been able to do our own tokelau clinics. And through those clinics, people have been able to come in and work on themselves mentally, physically, spiritually and emotionally. And I can see that our community is opening up. Being the space that Jolie's created is such a safe space just to be you. And if you see me when I first started, I was like quite shy, bit of pretender. But coming here and just doing the mahi has really, really helped. It's those ripple effects, through the generations. This isn't just for me. This is helping my tupuna, helping my parents, so that we can walk our kids can walk that clearer road.
Kia ora, ko Gemma tōku ingoa. I am originally from the southwest of England and have been here in Aotearoa for about 20 plus years. Yeah, growing up in a Western perspective, and on that side of the world, when someone is sick, we go to the hospital, we go to the doctor, and we're often given medication to calm the symptoms. And so I guess that was a shift before coming into this space, working with these practices where it is instant relief. We see it day in, day out, instant relief from pain, not just physical, but mental, emotional, spiritual, without having to have a course of medication. And essentially, people come back to who they are in a matter of hours, a matter of days.
As a nurse, I feel like there was, there was only so much that I could do to help our people. And especially in the dialysis field too, there's a lot of our people, they're with kidney failure. And I thought to myself, before kidney failure comes, there's diabetes, there's hypertension, and plenty other autoimmune diseases that causes them to end up in dialysis. I thought to myself, where can I position myself, or how can I be of service to prevent our people coming through? And that's why I thought, right back to the very start, it's our well-being, it's our wairua, who we are as a nurse. Yeah, that was, I feel like, I want to say it was a little bit of a barrier for me. I felt like I could connect and I could help, but there was a certain level to which I could practice on. Whereas here, I feel like, it's more wholesome, I would say. Yeah, it's a wholesome experience.
I think there's a purity in Rongoā Māori that no matter who you are, what I've learned so far is that it tells you to reconnect with yourself and to reconnect with your ancestors. with your well-being, with your own hauora. So it doesn't matter where you come from if you are open to learning through the lens of Te Ao Māori, that you have no choice but to look inwards. And so I had to look inwards within myself, with, you know, by this space and by this practice and by this kaupapa. I just looked in within myself, and within myself it's just me and it's just my ancestors. And so I've been able to feel so much more connected than I ever have before, and to trust that they are with me and that they're guiding me in the different ways. Understanding that as we are spiritual beings, we are beings that are connected to those that have passed before us and also those that are yet to come. And when you understand that, you know that what you do is about the mana that you hold, the mana that you've inherited, and the mana that you are going to also pass on. And so in that way, when I'm working with Pasifika people, that your wellness radiates from the inside out.
It's been a journey for me. So since doing my first workshop, it was almost 3 years ago, it kind of feels a little bit cliche to say it was life-changing, but here I am. You know, it was definitely career-changing. Yeah, so I was a scientist for about 15 years before this, doing a lot of studies, including bachelor's, master's, PhD, and then working as a scientist for about 8 years as well, solidly for the last at least 6 or 7 years. But alongside that, I think there's also been a lot of personal growth that's kind of slowly but surely shifted my perspective on how I view the world. And then I think 3 years ago, when I attended the first Manawa Ora workshop, a lot of things came together where I really experienced a big shift in how it is that how I move through the world, and allowing that process to unfold over the last 3 years has really shown me what I really find adds purpose and meaning to my life. And that's what surprised me most about coming to the workshop. I sat down and I listened to what Jolie had to say, and all of it just came straight in, and there was no why, how, when. It all made a lot of sense. And I think for a long time I tried to combine the two, but then at some point I thought, okay, well, do they need to be combined? You know, I think they can both exist, and that I find that they have almost their own language, if you will, and that the places that I find myself in when I am sort of more in this indigenous space, if you will, is just one of trust, of one that I'm sort of very grounded in, not thinking from here, but thinking very much from everything else that there is. And I think that's been my biggest learning, is learning to step out of here and be in the world, in my body, and moving from there. And I think that's a very different experience.
What keeps me here is the love. I know this isn't a promo, like this is for reals. It's the love that we all have for each other. It is the encouragement amongst us as whānau, as kaimahi, but especially from our management, from Jolie and from Matua, to be our true selves. You don't need to take this hat off or put this hat on depending on where you're going. You can just be your true and your authentic self. And that to me is really important. You know, like there have been spaces where Shans is okay to be her true self, and then we might go into other spaces and, you know, we might just need to bring it down a little bit. But here, your whole self is welcome, and you are encouraged to stand in your mana of who you are and all that you bring. And that's really important. Yeah.